before the dust settled over Nasiriyah, before the world saw her face on every television screen. There was chaos, fire, screams on broken radios, engines stalling, men shouting, and the echo of gunfire bouncing off the walls of a city that had turned into a trap. It was Maret 23, 2003. AUS. Army supply convoy the 507th Maintenance Company was lost. They were mechanics, clerks, and the drivers, not warriors. But that morning, the desert didn't care who they were. They were supposed to follow the main invasion route through Iraq, but one misturn changed everything. Instead of heading toward safety, they drove straight into Nasiriyah, one of the most fiercely defended cities in southern Iraq. The streets were narrow, the people silent, and then the ambush. Gunfire erupted from rooftops and the alleyways. Rocket-propelled grenades slammed into Humvees. Engines roared and died. Men screamed for cover that didn't exist. It was a storm of metal and dust. Private First Class Jessica Lynch, only 20 years old, was inside one of those trucks. She was a supply clerk not trained for battle. Her unit had no more heavy armor, no more air support, no more backup. In minutes, the convoy was chewed to pieces. Vehicles exploded, soldiers scattered, and the radio calls overlapped in pure panic. Bravo 6, this is Bravo 7, what's the decision? Over. But there was no more clear answer, only chaos. Jessica's vehicle crashed. Her rifle jammed. She fought until she could fight no more. When the dust settled, 11 Americans were dead, several were captured. Andy Jessica, broken and barely conscious, was taken to a hospital run by Saddam's Fedayeen fighters. Nasiriyah was no more longer just a city. It was a battlefield. Andy a cage. Inside the hospital, she drifted in and out of awareness. Bones shattered, body bruised, but somehow she was still alive. Doctors whispered in hallways. Some wanted to help her. Others feared the militias controlling the building. Outside, the city burned. Inside, a young American lay alone, unaware she had become the symbol of a nation's hope. Days passed. U.S. forces were closing in, but no more one knew where she was. Then, whispers started to reach the American command. An American woman, alive, held in a hospital. The Pentagon began to plan something the world hadn't seen in decades: a full-scale rescue mission in the middle of an enemy city. The call came to the U.S. Army Rangers and the Navy SEALs. Operation name Objective Irene. The goal, get her out alive. On the night of April 1 Street, 2003, helicopters chewed through the black Iraqi sky. Dust kicked up like ghosts of the fallen. Night vision glowed green. Every soldier knew this mission could end in blood. They landed under fire, moved fast, silent, focused. Through broken doors and the bullet holes, they stormed the hospital. Gunfire cracked in the distance. They breached room after room until one voice whispered, "She's here." Sir, she was battered, frightened, but alive. Jessica Lynch, the lost soldier who had survived when no one thought she could. They lifted her from the bed, shielded her with their bodies, and they carried her into the night. Outside, engines roared as the rescue team disappeared into the dark, carrying hope with them. For the first time since World War II, an American POW had been rescued behind enemy lines. And for a brief moment amid a war of confusion and the politics, there was unity, pride, relief. But behind the headlines, the truth was far more complex. Some Iraqi civilians had secretly helped her, risking their lives to keep her alive. Doctors treated her wounds, hid her medical charts, and lied to the militias who wanted to use her as propaganda. War had made enemies out of neighbors, yet even in the darkest corners, humanity flickered. After the rescue, Jessica was flown home a hero. Yet, she would later admit she never fired a shot. Her rifle had jammed. The real story wasn't one of action, it was one of survival. And that is what makes it powerful. She didn't conquer the battlefield, she endured it. She didn't choose to be a hero, the world chose her. When she awoke in a hospital in the United States, she sighed quietly, "I'm just glad to be home." No more glory, no more speeches, just relief. In Nasiriyah, the hospital still stands scarred, silent, haunted by memory. The people who risked everything to help her remain mostly unnamed. And yet, their story, too, is a kind of courage, the kind born not of war, but of mercy. We remember Jessica Lynch not as a symbol of propaganda or politics, but as a human being who faced the unimaginable and survived. Her story reminds us that war is not just fought with bullets. It is fought with hope, with kindness, with the will to live. If this story moved you, if you believe history should never be forgotten, then like, share, and subscribe. Because behind every uniform, every scar, and every silence, there's a story waiting to be remembered.